This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Auto industry experts are worried about the kind of disruption President Trump's tariffs and EV policies could cause. Up until now, the auto industry was on track to build 17 million vehicles in North America by 2027. That included nearly 3 million EVs, according to analyst Warren Brown at RFQ Insights. All the investment decisions have already been made, and the supply chains have already been built. Moreover, employment in the U.S. auto industry is now at its highest point since 2018, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. But now all of that is under threat. Tariffs will raise the prices of all vehicles by thousands of dollars, and the elimination of EV incentives will cause demand to go down. All that will lead to lower capacity utilization, which will in turn raise manufacturing costs. RFQ Insights says the lost employment from lower BEV production will be felt the hardest in Michigan, Kansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And make no mistake about it, the domestic automakers will use the tariffs to raise their own prices, which are expected to go up by $3,000 per vehicle on average. Meanwhile, TD Economics says it would cost $50 billion in new capital investment to stop all vehicle imports and to build those models in the U.S. instead. But this comes at a time when capital is tight and interest rates are high. TD Economics says just moving Canadian production to the U.S. would involve building 6 new assembly plants. 3 of the best-selling cars made in Canada are the Toyota RAV4, the Honda CR-V, and the Chrysler Pacifica. But automakers will not be in any hurry to spend tens of billions to move production, especially if a change in administration in 4 years ends up with those tariffs going away or getting watered down. RFQ Insights points out it took the Japanese automakers over 10 years to build assembly plants in the U.S. after the Reagan administration imposed the Voluntary Restraint Agreement. What we're looking at here is the law of unintended consequences. Policies that are designed to help the auto industry could end up doing the opposite. A good example of this is in Europe, where automakers face billions of euros in fines this year for missing CO2 targets. To avoid those fines, they have to buy zero-emission vehicle credits from automakers who are selling EVs. Tesla and Volvo have already made deals with several automakers. But unless something changes, automakers are also going to end up buying ZEV credits from Chinese automakers who are selling EVs in Europe. It's crazy. At the same time the European automakers are fighting a threat from Chinese automakers, they could end up handing billions of euros over to their fiercest competitors. In order to remain competitive, Volkswagen said it's going to cut 35,000 jobs and slash production by over 730,000 units in Germany by the end of the decade. But according to reports, VW is giving each factory its own cost-cutting target, and then it's leaving it up to labor representatives and managers to figure it all out. And so far, there hasn't been a lot of action, which is now leading to questions if VW can even hit its reduction targets at all.
Developing today's vehicles. Issues can happen in an instant. When's the best time to solve a problem? The minute you know you have one. Meet Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your secure, off-the-shelf solution empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Tesla's aging lineup and CEO Elon Musk's divisiveness put a big dent in the company's brand value. According to research and consulting firm Brand Finance, Tesla's brand value is now at $43 billion, down from $58 billion at the beginning of 2024 and $66 billion from 2023. Tesla is now the third most valuable automaker, behind Toyota at nearly $65 billion and Mercedes at $53 billion. Brand Finance looks at a company's revenue, licensing deals, margins, and more to calculate its value. The rankings also include consumer surveys. And while Tesla's loyalty remains high, its recommendation score, which indicates whether or not people will speak favorably about a brand, has declined. But while consumers have cooled on Tesla, investors have not. Its stock price soared after Donald Trump's re-election, and it now has a market cap of $1.3 trillion. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class was the safest vehicle in Europe last year. The Euro NCAP, the organization that does crash and safety testing in Europe, said the E-Class was the safest car it tested in 2024. The model received good scores in 4 testing areas from passive to active safety, which awarded it the overall safety title of Best Performer. Volvo's vehicle naming is getting more confusing. The XC90 is being joined by the all-electric version, the EX90. That model is now also being built in the US and will go on sale soon in the US with a starting price just under $80,000, not including destination charges. On top of the XC90 and the EX90, the all-electric version of the XC40, called XC40 Recharge, is being renamed the EX40. But the XC40 name will live on for the mild hybrid versions. Volvo also increased battery capacity in the EX40 from 78 to 82 kilowatt hours and bumped up the charging rate ever so slightly. The model will slot right above the EX30, which is also going on sale soon in the US. It will launch with dual-motor all-wheel drive versions that start just below $45,000, not including destination charges. And staying in the family, Polestar, which is also under the Geely umbrella but is really controlled by Chinese automaker Zeekr, another Geely brand, announced it will come out with a new premium compact SUV called the Polestar 7. While Polestar currently has manufacturing in China, South Korea, and the US, it says the Polestar 7 will be made in Europe. We think the model will be Polestar's version of the Volvo EX30 and will be made alongside that vehicle in Belgium. Under its previous CEO, the 7 was supposed to be a replacement for the Polestar 2 sedan, but the new CEO says the 2 will live on. Reports say a second-gen version will be made on the same platform as the 7 and be built at the same European factory. So, if we're right, the Volvo EX30 and the new Polestar 2 and 7 will all be built in Belgium, which could really help it build scale off of one platform. Oh, and talk about confusing naming. Polestar names its vehicles based on the order in which they were designed, not by size. So smaller number vehicles are bigger than bigger number vehicles in some cases, and then it's also the other way around. Ford is reimbursing dealers in the US that installed Level 3 EV chargers. Back in 2022, the automaker launched a program that required dealers to make EV investments, including installing chargers, which gave them the right to sell EVs. But the program received a lot of pushback from dealers, and last year Ford scrapped it. So now the company is reimbursing dealers as much as $240,000 for installing the chargers. Ford's EV sales haven't lived up to expectations, so now it's asking dealers to invest in EV training and spend a minimal amount on Level 2 chargers instead. Brembo and Michelin say a partnership they formed last October is already showing promising results. By providing Brembo's brake-by-wire system with real-time tire grip data from Michelin software, they were able to reduce braking distances by up to 13 feet during anti-lock braking events. The technology also makes braking smoother with quicker response times, reduce traction loss, and improve stability. And while the companies say the system is promising, they need to do more tests, and it's too early to say when it could reach the market. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Intrepid Control Systems. Over-the-air engineering boost your game. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.